Welcome to Real Talk Christian Podcast, where we drink coffee and have real conversations on faith, culture, and society. I'm your host, Chris Fuller.
And I'm Marc Hyde.
And on today's non-viewing episode, we are talking about... I clicked it again. We were talking... There we are. Talking about artificial intelligence, ethics, and gods, and what should Christians think about AI. It's going to be a good conversation filled with lots of, I don't know, opinions, I guess.
Maybe we should ask ChatGPT before we do it if we should do this.
Maybe we should. All right.
You ready?
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, for some reason, it's like buffering hot. I'm going to close this out to see if that helps with some of the buffering going on.
Is it the camera that we're dealing with? Because we got a new camera set up.
It wasn't doing this before the new camera, but what's doing it now? But we'll get through it.
Who knows what's going on?
It looks better on the YouTube.
I sure hope it looks better on the YouTube. I don't know. We're testing this one out. This is my camera that I use for this. It's literally my webcam. It's like a souped up gaming.
It's nice.
It's designed for streamers and gamers. Sure, that's really what it's designed for. So we'll see if it actually pans out or works out. We will find out. Speaking of works out, when was the last time you worked out?
Not in a long time.
It's been a little bit for me too.
Are you fat shaming me?
No, I'm not. I just was thinking of a funny transition.
I think you're fat.
Have you heard of this trend lately that's called intermittent fasting? It's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's been over a decade.
Absolutely. You know Beth is doing it.
Oh, yeah?
And she loves it.
Oh, yeah?
And so I was like, you know what, babe? I'm going to be supportive, and I'm going to do this with you. It sucks.
Yeah, because it's like you eat for like you pick what, like 4 hours, 6 hours,
window,
or
6 hour, 8 hour window,
and then you don't eat.
Yeah. But here's the deal that I noticed, because it's like, it makes me, because I'm like, I want to be supportive, but I'm also not doing it fully. But I'm also like, it's making me realize how much I snack. Like at night.
You're a snacker?
I'm a snacker. Like I'm making the kids sandwiches or whatever at night. I'm popping a turkey piece, or I'm popping like a little that's a little extra peanut butter, or it's like here's some little treats for this, here's some treats for that. Cereal, I'm popping this. Making breakfast, I'm popping that. Like I pop I pop snacks all the time.
You snack.
I'm a snacker.
You're a snack, crackle, and pop?
Yep. But the problem is like, it's not just snacking, because if I keep snacking, then I'm like, at the end, I'm at like a bowl of cereal like 10 o'clock at night. And so I'm real. Well, I wish I had your metabolism. Well, that's the problem is it's slowing down.
Yeah, but like I eat like a protein bar for breakfast. Like here's what I had today. I had a protein bar for breakfast. I had a salad for lunch, and I had like a couple little square thin crust pieces of pizza for dinner. Like, that's what I had. And I look like this. So, enjoy your metabolism.
I'm very different in that regard.
Yeah. Like, I did have a snack when I got home. I had like a handful of pretzels. That's it. Like, that's what I had for a snack.
We are very different people.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could snack. I like eat nothing, and yet I'm fat. So, that's just the way it is.
Gosh, that's funny. All right, dude, we're going to keep this trend going about things that people wanted to know about you and I from Facebook. And I thought this was an interesting question.
Okay.
All right. So this one is from our boy Austin, which I'm sure I can say it at this point. So Austin McCoy, he was serving at local church, involved in student ministry and stuff like that. Well, his buddy Ryan was called to be the pastor of a local church here in town, and they actually are leaving there because they've been trying to figure out if they're going to stay at their church or not. They weren't always sure. They wanted to stay in their community. That was a big one, which they're up here in OC. And so they are actually going to this new church as part of there's lay leaders, but to help lead the youth group.
Sure.
So Austin and Kayla went from strangers to listeners to friends to all of a sudden now, and they got baptized like a year ago. Yep. And now Austin and Kayla leading the student ministry at a church.
They got baptized like 3 years ago.
No, was it really 3 years
like
ago?
2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's right. Austin just baptized their oldest at church.
Yeah, right.
I saw that
on
ago.
Facebook. Yeah.
So Austin, Kayla, my bad. But either way, dude, I'm proud of you, homie. I saw Kayla at the zoo because she was on a field trip with her students, and I was there with our kids' school. So I chatted with Kayla for a little bit. But here's a question that Austin asked.
All right.
Non-interview.
Okay.
And it cannot be Beth related or Janelle related.
Okay.
What is your favorite topic or episode that you guys have done? It cannot be an interview, and it cannot involve our wives.
Oh man, that's a rough one.
We've had 271 episodes plus bonus.
Okay. I think my favorite.
Your favorite. Is it hard?
I mean, I have one that comes to mind, but is it my favorite? I guess. What's yours? Let's go with you first.
The one that popped into my head was I actually really, on a personal level, enjoyed the honest struggles of the Christian walk. because that was just chitty chat. You know, that was
you having your little session.
Yeah, that was my therapy session, RTC. But I don't know. I really enjoyed episode 50 and episode 100. Okay. Those were a heck of a lot of fun because 50 was when we replayed old clips from our favorites from that. And then 100 is we went live.
Yep.
And we had people who they left us audio messages that we recorded questions that we answered live.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
We had people who texted us in. So we were playing people's voices as they recorded their question. We got to answer their question. I thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
I would say my favorite, besides the Beth one, because I was like,
you can't mention that. That's off limits.
I don't know. Those are the two that popped to mind. Was probably episode 100, and then the one where it's honest story of the Christian walk.
I like interviews, right? I like the interview process and hearing things.
The interviews are fun.
Oh man, this is so hard. I would probably say one of our Christmas episodes, because I thought they were so we did the Christmas carols one. We did the Santa Claus one. Those were fun to do.
Misconceptions about the Christmas story.
That was a great one. I had a blast with that. I like our holidays. Our holiday
ones, like
Halloween.
The Halloween ones, that's different.
Thanksgiving, the New Year's stuff. Like I don't know why. It's fun to do. Now, are they my favorite? See, this is where it comes to are they my favorite? I would say if I had to choose a favorite.
Austin wants to know your favorite, not your second.
It would probably be the Speaking the Truth in Love, because
I knew that was coming.
Okay,
that's what I was going to say.
I'll give you the background. So at the time when we did that,
are we going behind the scenes? You gonna pull this curtain back?
At the time we did that,
oh boy,
I had a friend that we were in a very heated disagreement that ended up where we didn't speak for years.
Yep.
After that. Mm-hmm. And God was teaching me in that how harsh I could be. And this is like early on. So this is like the whole pause. Like that was in the whole midst of me and my harshness.
That was a denomination episode.
Yeah. So God had to humble me and teach me a lot of things. And so that's what that spurred out of, as God was teaching me these things about speaking the whole Galatians chapter 6, verses 1-3, and speaking the truth in love and gentleness, so that you yourself may not fall in the same temptation that your brother is, who, it may be caught up in sin, and you're trying to restore them. And that is really what inspired going into that episode for me, was just, I was in the midst of grieving who I was and grieving the loss of a friendship that I had. Now that friendship has since been restored, but I think I was very raw. And I'd probably pick that episode just because of the backstory. So, there you
go. I didn't think we were all going to get that deep on this one, but
there you go, bro.
That was good.
See, I could be raw when I want to be.
This is the second or third episode in a row where you've used the raw. I'm going to be raw. The word, I'm going to be raw, which is that's press and sprinkle theology in the raw, man.
It's raw.
I got the coffee burps.
Real talk Christian, the raw.
Real talk Christian in the raw. I don't know. But that was a good question.
Yeah,
but there's a lot more questions we can still go and get through. But if you want to know something about being Fuller, dude, hit up the Facebook group, ask the question. If you want Fuller's answer on something, you got to tag homeboy. All right? You got to tag him.
Yeah, that's it. Because if you don't tag me, I don't see it most of the time.
And there are something. Now, I was going through Facebook the other day, and Facebook, for some reason, was throttling a handful of replies and posts. So if you got a notification where it's you said something 5 months ago, and then you're like, oh, it just got approved. Apparently there was a little hidden area that I just found when I was, I was waiting I was waiting to get my hearing test done because I'm getting old. And it's like, oh, this is magical.
I've been having hearing tests since I was in first grade, man. It's not because you're getting old.
I had hearing tests done when I was younger because Mom thought I couldn't hear, but I just wasn't listening.
Said selective listening, and you were not selected.
Which is the same as one of our daughters. They're like, nope, she's fine. She just doesn't want to listen. We're like, cool. Kind of wish it was the other problem, but oh gosh.
Anywho.
Yeah, but so for this episode, it's already almost 10 minutes in.
I know.
We're not drinking coffee.
Nope.
We actually not even drinking Waterloo.
Nope.
We actually didn't even take a bathroom break between episodes.
We're going to have to hurry on this one.
Oh gosh, it is a big conversation. But before we get to the AI conversation, because this is a deep ethical question.
Sure.
More than anything. We got some reviews to read.
All right,
go for it, do you want to read them since this is your episode? And then you have to do all the rest of talking?
No, you can go ahead and read them. Because I picked the longest one for you.
That's true. I'm going to try to not interrupt you a lot this episode. episode. That's today's goal. We're going to see how this works.
All right. I wish I had a pause button now. So I could be like, pause.
I mean, you can mute me if you want. That's fine.
No, that's all right. We love you, Mark. We like your interrupting.
This one is from Tawny C2324. It says, the best Christian podcast out there. Thank you for lying. It says, I am just... but in all seriousness,
thank you for lying.
Thank you. We take it. I am just beginning my Christian walk, and I was looking for a podcast to listen to while at work. Parentheses, I promise that listening doesn't affect my work performance. You lied twice so far on this review. It says, after listening to a handful here and there, I came across this one. I love that they're fellow Hoosiers. What's up? Just like me, discussing relevant and modern topics and having different opinions with thoughtful debates while still remaining respectful. I have learned so much while reinforcing my faith and look forward to catching up on all the episodes and the new ones to come. Well, question, Tawny C, are you caught up yet? That's my question.
And are you in the Facebook group?
That's true. That's another good one. This one is from Layla62. And it says, I have been saved for almost 10 years. I got on my knees and begged God's forgiveness and have never looked back. I'm ashamed to admit I knew very little about the Bible, though. I learned a lot and continue to grow in my faith. RTC has been a part of that growth. It's at a level that I can relate to. And Mark, thank you for spelling my name correctly, and Fuller make it enjoyable to listen and learn. Thanks for the lessons and for the laughs.
Listen, if people can't spell your name right by this point, there's a problem because
I gaslight people.
Absolutely, you do. You're like, it's with a C, people. It's with a C. But then, if you're a true rewinder, you know that his real name really isn't Mark. It's Timothy.
Yeah, and it's not Marcus either.
No,
it's Timothy Marc Hyde.
Yeah, it's Timothy.
Timothy.
Timo.
Present.
T.
All right, bro. So, where did this whole idea of this AI conversation pop into your head?
So
I asked that for your the last question too, but
yeah,
I like to ask that question of how the heck does this?
Well, hang on, I gotta write down the time here of where we're starting at
12
because
minutes.
for all the people that hate listening to the banner and everything else.
Have I mentioned a Madam Secretary reference yet, Sabrina? It's off Netflix, by the way. Madam Secretary is no longer on Netflix.
I already put the timestamp in. Now I don't want to have to go back and change it.
Bingo.
So. All right.
Another rewind.
So the thought process for this episode came from an actual question from Paul Lindgren. If you guys remember the three-part episode about going through an affair and a divorce with Paul Lindgren, the musician, a very close and personal friend of mine.
At what point do we just call it a docuseries?
I mean, I'm trying to. I need to get him back on and like do a cool another like update.
I don't think I've ever actually talked with Paul.
No, because you were going through your own affair and divorce at the time, and not you having the affair, but I knew you were going to say it eventually. But yeah, but we were talking, and he goes, Chris, I would love to hear your and Mark's discussion, debate, whatever you want to call it, on artificial intelligence and should Christians in the church be utilizing this tool?
And to which I answered, you mean the thing that I use every day for work?
Right, exactly. So, sometimes,
I love you, Paul.
Sometimes I go to ChatGPT, and Confessions of Fuller here, and I'll go, what would be a good podcast topic? And I let it go, and I'm like,
okay,
nope, more. And then I type in more, and then I start thinking of Star Wars with Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, and they're like shooting at more. Anyways, yeah. So.
And then they take the Hobbes to Isengard. You know,
sorry,
it's a good time.
They're taking the Hobbes to Isengard.
Oh gosh. But anyways, and I'll say my opinions for what I think AI is about and how best to use it. But it's a hot topic right now.
It is. So.
And not just how to use it, because let's be honest, AI is all over the place, but the ethical side behind it.
Yeah, and I mean, AI is no longer a science fiction, right? So back, if you think like 50 years ago, it's like flying cars.
My sound effect is...
Or like Terminator, the whole Skynet thing. Well, that was all science fiction. So from Siri to ChatGPT to facial recognition, it's in our pockets and in our homes. As Christians, we must view AI not with fear or blind acceptance, but through the lens of biblical truth and ethical wisdom and gospel-centered purpose. This leads me into trying to understand things. People are like, well, I just don't understand. And what you don't understand, you can't...
a lot of times what you don't understand, you fear.
Right. And so I would say, hey, James has got the perfect answer for you. James chapter 1, verses 5 and 6. Now, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives to all generously and ungrudgingly, and it will be given to him. But let him ask in faith without doubting. So if you're having a lack of understanding, ask God to lead you to things to help you understand some of this stuff. But what is artificial intelligence? So I pulled an article from IBM,
How many times have we referenced IBM? Like, normally it's like gotquestions.org.
Never IBM.
IBM.com. That's awesome.
IBM. So here we go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Artificial intelligence, AI, is a technology that enables computers and machines to simulate human learning, comprehension, problem solving, decision making, creativity, and autonomy. Applications and devices equipped with AI can see and identify objects. They can understand and respond to human language. They can learn from the new information and experience. Then they can make detailed recommendations to the users and experts. They can act independently, replacing the need for human intelligence or intervention. A classic example of this being a self-driving car. So
that's a great definition.
I thought it was a good,
very good definition.
I was looking at different things. I'm like, that's probably the best definition of AI I found.
Yeah, that was solid.
So let's get into talking about technology in general for a second before we dive headfirst into AI and discuss whether technology is in fact neutral. Right? Is technology neutral, or is there something more? Is it good or evil? Can it be amplified either as good and evil? Well, I would say there's two things I'll go to that would say that God created everything and that God created our minds and can lead us to creating things, right?
Okay.
Genesis chapter 11 and 11 verse 4, the Tower of Babel, right? Used technology to elevate man above God.
That's true. They said, let's build a tower.
Right.
Yeah.
To reach the heavens.
Yep.
Which was used for an evil purpose, right?
Which I want to know how tall it really was.
I know.
Like,
they were trying to shoot arrows into heaven in what was that? The old Moses movie or whatever? I forget. There was one movie where they were trying to show the Tower of Babel. And I just remember seeing this guy and he had like this big head covering thing on.
Well,
he's like shooting arrows into heaven.
I'm like, is it as big as the buildings in New York or Dubai or like?
It had to have been big enough where God caused confusion for whatever reason. So you can see that technology in that aspect was used for evil. But Exodus chapter 31 verses 1 through 5, we see that God gives artisans to build his tabernacle using tools. So again, using technology, but in more of a good stance. So Stephen Driscoll from the Gospel Coalition says this: I've heard it said that an optimist invents a hot air balloon, a pessimist a parachute. But don't parachutes sometimes fail? Imagine falling through the air with nothing but fabric and theories about wind resistance. Here's me saying an optimist invents a hot air balloon, a pessimist stays at home. That's where I'd be, so I suppose that's what I am. What are you? How about when it comes to technology? Should we lean in a fundamentally hopeful or gloomy direction? Christian tech optimists have a fundamentally positive view of technology. They will emphasize God's sovereignty over all things, including technology. They will emphasize that God made humanity to create, to be creative, and to fill and govern and tend to his world. Christian tech pessimists have a negative view. They will emphasize sin and the fall, noting that in the world, in its rebellion against God, tech is often used for evil. They will talk about God giving his creatures freedom as second causes to make horrific technological mistakes.
I have a fun hot take on that one.
I'm going to let you have your hot take here in a sec. Let me finish the article. My view is that both camps are obviously right and obviously wrong. They're obviously right in what they say and obviously wrong in what they gloss over or ignore. Neither of these extremes give you a full picture, and I'm a bit concerned about each. Now,
I'm a bit concerned about each.
You and I had a good conversation that was leading into this, and you were like, I'm going to bring this thing in, and this is where I'm going to give you your opportunity to bring it in.
Oh.
Right? Because you were talking about some things regarding technology and regarding maybe some of the more negative depravity sides of human nature and some thoughts that you had and were reading. So go ahead.
I mean, because there's obviously the stuff where it's like deep seeks, where it's like, and we always saw it on TV where it's like people like do the voiceovers or do different tech things that like, break in places and do cool things or whatever, like in Leverage, they do that all the time. But, you do see the problem of technology. This is one of the main things these pessimists will bring up, which I thought was funny, where it's like the pessimists who say that technology is always used for evil. I'm like, yeah, but these are the people that say the same things, that you should own guns because guns don't kill people, people do. So I'm just going to leave that out there for you folks.
Mic drop.
But there is a lot of bad things that technology and AI does. Like, for example, like there are massive OnlyFans accounts that are AI generated. People are making billions off this stuff.
Right.
There's people where it's like they are legit making these AI people, and then they get brand sponsorships and do all these things, and people interact and interact with these fake artificial intelligence because they would rather have these realities than an actual physical, real reality. And then going beyond, like, there used to be people where it's like they would game all the time and they would have like these different anime characters as their gaming people. And then they'd know these people, meet these people, live in these legit alternative universes.
The Sims.
Oh, no. Beyond that. Like,
that's where it kind of started.
But you build a digital world, but then they meet off like in real life and they're still real life people. But now people are enjoying just being with AI more than even real people. And so like you've seen, and I don't know if it's real or not, but people are actually getting married to like these AI creation things, or they're making people that are these robots that look like AI where you can basically marry them and do all the things with it, which is just terrifying. But the thing that terrifies me the most is more the fact of, some people have that iRobot mindset where the robots are going to take over the world and do all these different things.
Skynet, Terminator.
Is that what
Matrix?
I don't know what Terminator.
iRobot's another one.
Smart House from Disney. Anybody?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
When it becomes a human and all of a sudden steps into that reality, that's where people tend to get scared of where AI is going.
Right.
And that's where a lot of the bad side goes. But that's normally not what AI is used for. AI a lot of times is used to make, and I don't want to say make life easy, but it's the same people who would have said, having a dishwasher and a washing machine are evil because it makes the wife's job easy.
But if we look at AI and some of the capabilities, it's able to run formulas for math equations a lot faster. It's able to take data from scientific discoveries and run it quicker. So if we look, right, if we add what you were just talking about and some of the depravity of humanity and what we're using technology for different things, for different pleasures and stuff like that. And then the flip side where we see that there's scientific discoveries being made using the help of AI generated things.
Right, because you can do so much. And so I heard a quote, honestly, just today, yesterday, I listened to this podcast yesterday about how to use AI to automate your business workflows and stuff like that. And the guy made this quote where he says is LLMs, which is like learning language modules, which is your ChatGPT, your Claudes, your Geminis. That is to words as calculators were to numbers.
Right.
And in other words,
it's just taking data input.
If you were using a calculator from people back in the day, they would say you are being lazy and you don't know how to actually do math because you're not doing it all on paper. No, you're using another thing to make sure you do it right, do it well, and do it faster. And then the same way as Google is to research. We all Google everything to get answers faster.
Sure.
For AI, like I did this for work. I put in 5 different web pages for a website that I'm building for a client. And I said, based on all this information, here's all the context of what we're trying to do. I'm trying to get one simple phrase that I can put on the top part of the website that is not the mission statement, but encapsulates everything. Give me 10 ideas. And it got me to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to copy paste. I'm going to use it in my own thing.
Sure, absolutely.
But I saved hours of thinking with using AI.
Right.
Like, dang.
Yeah, well, it's compiling data and compiling all the stuff that you have already put in and going, hey, here's 10 suggestions. And you can go, all right, I'm going to take that suggestion, but I'm going to actually put my own spin on that suggestion.
Right, and that's the thing is there's the good side of AI where it becomes like a research assistant.
Right.
So, but then there's the other side where it becomes copyright infringement and stealing
plagiarisms and all that stuff.
And that's honestly where a lot of the ethical questions, even outside the Christian world, goes.
Well, and I think that we can see that technology can be used for either extreme, good or evil, and AI can be used for godly purpose or human pride. Its morality depends on its maker and its user. And so that it drives us into what's the ethical concerns Christians need to consider, right? And I think human dignity and the image of God, Genesis chapter 1, 26 and 27 say, then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. They will rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the livestock, the whole earth, and the creatures that crawl on the earth. So God created man in his own image. He created them. Him in the image of God created them male and female, right? So technology, this AI, is not created in the image of God. So that's an ethical concern, right? Mm-hmm. Especially when we start saying we're going to create AI images to be human-like.
Not even just on the screen, but to take the place or in real life robot.
Of the image of God, though, that man and woman. So machines are not made in the image of God, but people are. We must never equate efficiency with human worth, right? So never replace that human, even on the physicality side of things, that human relationship with AI. And this is what you were talking about, how you're getting into that reality, that different world that people are choosing to live in rather than choosing to live in where actual human beings created in the image of God that have worth are actually presiding.
It's a multi-million, maybe even billion-dollar industry.
Right.
AI junk.
So the other,
it's wild.
Another ethical concern can be justice and bias, right? If AI is running all of the, I know a lot of companies right now are using it for a hiring process.
Oh yeah, it processes all the things.
Well, and then, because it's an input data center, right? It's learning if there's some ethical bias based upon race, skin color, whatever. It may root out people.
It's ChatGPT racist. Come back next week and find out.
I'm just saying, if you're putting a lot of minority data in there, it could take white Caucasian males and totally exit them out of the interview process and never show their files because you're looking for this, minority ethnic, type
or the flip side, right. You can remove other people from,
exactly. So, AI can reflect human bias in hiring, policing, and more. Micah chapter 6, verse 8 says, mankind, he has told each of you what is good and what it is the Lord requires of you, to act justly, to love faithfulness, and to walk humbly with your God. So in all these things, we should be doing these things where we're looking at the person and what they're doing rather than just putting them out as data and having AI run something to face people.
Can I add something to justice there? I actually am going to bring Madam Secretary into this. In one of the Madam Secretary episodes, they're talking about using drones and AI robots to take people out rather than using the SEALs. And in the process of doing this, they lost one of the SEALs rather than using an unmanned drone. And the thing that they pushed back on, that Madam Secretary did, and even like the parents and things like that, is the fact of you are taking out the emotional side of when we are doing this, we are killing humans and rescuing humans. But when you take out the human element and it's just black and white as a robot, now we are trying to teach AI to have emotions and feeling and make rational calls, but an AI cannot be a human when it comes down to it. Like you don't understand what it's like to be a human.
It doesn't have the emotional side or that type of
and that's just it.
Sense.
So there's the question then in warfare with justice. I'm thinking justice specifically with warfare of, if you just send in unmanned artillery and things like that, and it's just a blip it on the screen. Like even Henry and Madam Secretary said, when I pulled the trigger, I never had to look in the eyes of somebody. It was just a blip it on the screen. And he told his son, I put it this way, I never missed the blip.
Yeah.
Like there's something to be said about removing the. He dealt with it because he was the one who pushed the button. But if nobody's pushing the button, then it's just like, oh, they look like terrorists. Like,
look at the blip.
Yeah,
it becomes a video game at that point.
And so it takes away some of the justice and the bias towards what you create. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep, I'm with you.
So another thing would be privacy and surveillance, right? And this is the big one, right? The facial recognition, AI track, monitoring, manipulating, all that stuff can happen. I love Proverbs 15. It talks about the eyes of the Lord are everywhere. God is your AI. He's your big brother. That's the only one that should really matter. But as far as
that's old school family Christian bookstore Christian T-shirt.
As far as God is the everywhere. Real big brother. Yeah, God's my big brother. But as far as AI being used for privacy reasons, surveillance type of things, it can be really harmful, right?
Because like, again, don't give me a ticket.
It takes that
human. Don't give me a ticket for speeding because AI caught me.
It takes that human aspect out of it, though. Maybe you were speeding because you had an emergency, right? As where a cop pulled you over and you go, I have an emergency, they could help you or get you there faster, right? The AI is just gonna be like, nah, bro, I don't care if your kid was dying or not. Here's a ticket for $250, And so it takes that whole human interaction out of it. And then lastly, the other ethical thing that Christians must consider is economic displacement, right? AI
this
replacing
is probably one
jobs.
Of the bigger ones.
This is what everybody feels. And what is the church's role actually in helping the vulnerable and the poor, the needy? We talk about this all the time. Proverbs 31:9 says, speak up, judge righteously, and defend the cause of the oppressed and the needy, right? This is a common theme in Scripture, is helping the poor, helping the needy. And if we're taking away people's jobs because of AI, is that ethically wrong?
No.
Or again, can it assist and make us more efficient?
I mean, this is the thing that gets so frustrating with this conversation. And I'm becoming a grumpy old man, so I get it. I'm there.
Get off my lawn.
Don't get off. My grass is pretty right now.
Mine isn't.
I've had to fill up a lot of pea spots because I have a dog now, but that's besides the point. But with economic displacement, this goes back to everything. We said this about computers. We invented cars. Oh, well, who's going to drive it now? Like now it's taking away stagecoach drivers, and it's taking away this, and it's taking away automate that. And so there's always something that's displacing the job market, but just as jobs are exiting, jobs are opening too.
Yeah, but AI has the capability, if you've really followed AI, has the capability of really replacing humans altogether in almost every phase. What you do right now, web development, can be simply solved with AI.
Oh, that's true.
You would be out of a job, right? So even the steel industry could be all automated and run completely by AI. Like that's where it could go.
We're coming to Wall-E days, folks.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And that's
fat and sassy and
going around on our hover rounds. Yep. But so there's a real, and I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying there's an ethical concern that Christians should consider, right?
And I think this is where it gets hard, is because ChatGPT, now AI has been around for decades, guys. Sure. Don't pretend that it hasn't been. It's the fact of now it's the first time that it's at the consumer basis.
Sure.
And there was a lot of, I mean, when anything new comes out, you got to figure out where the line is. Like when cars come out, you got to put regulators in them.
Right.
Then we had to put seatbelts in them. And then we have to have this, that, and the other. And then we need, different things for safety. We need stoplights and stop signs all of a sudden.
Sure.
So it's like there was a lot of fear with how fast and hot it came out of the market with ethical concerns about a lot of these topics. And I feel like, we're starting to get to that spot where we're able to pull them back. But again, and maybe we'll talk about this where, is there a good place for AI? I've seen the church take a positive role with using AI in terms of being able to get a lot of beautiful things done and messages spread out.
Man, are you reading my notes over here?
No, I'm not. I saw the headline. Is that what we're going to talk about?
That is what we're going to talk about.
My bad.
So is there a place for Christians and in the church for the use of AI, right? And exactly what you're talking about. One big thing is that it helps get the gospel out in the world. And so Bible translating, digital evangelism, access to scriptures have been supercharged by AI. It is crazy how fast I could take the Bible, I could copy it, put it in Chat GPT, and say translate it to X, Y, and Z language, and it'll do it in an instant, right? So I can read the Bible in my own language across the world in an instant now, rather than having to tediously translate everything, because it's just going through and taking all the data for that language, transposing it all, and it just does it in an instant. And so, following the Great Commission, Matthew chapter 28, verses 19 and 20, the Great Commission has been never more accessible for Christians to help spread the gospel throughout the world, using AI in a great way to translate Bible, to help with that digital evangelism. Because you can take a video, right, and you can transpose and have it spoken, a sermon. You could have Charles Spurgeon's sermons transposed into a voice, into a language, and get it to people. I mean, it's crazy the things that you can do with the AI as a tool. Another thing is,
well, before you do that, I don't want to miss this part too.
Yeah, go for it.
With getting the gospel into the world, we don't use a lot of it right now because of the time, and we just don't have the bandwidth to do it. But so many churches are clipping their sermons up, and they're doing reels, they're doing TikToks, they're doing Bible studies now out of these things. Like all AI. Like there's a website. I know the owner, Corey. He's down in Indianapolis actually with Sermon Shots, and this is not sponsored by Sermon Shots, but pastors can upload their sermons, and then you still have to do some work and do some settings and things like that, but it can kick out sermon clips with subtitles that go out and people are able to hear about Jesus and the gospel and all these different things. Right. And then it also can create Bible study resources with maybe some small group questions to ask about the sermon. There's other people that are able to use AI with these different things where, like you could put it in and it spits out images and quotes and all these different things where it speeds up the process by which pastors, digital creators, content creators can replicate their stuff, duplicate the message, and get it out faster and better and more efficiently. Right. Which I think is just cool.
It's an amazing tool that can be used. Another thing, it can help aid in sermon prep for a lot of pastors, preachers, evangelists, all these people.
Now, I've heard research. A lot of people don't like this.
I know they don't, but to me, how quickly can I take a word and I should really, if I wasn't scared to death, it would slow down and buffer the video.
We'd pull it up right now?
I'd pull it up and show you. I did this the other day. I took a biblical text and I said, translate it into Greek, and then give me the expository explanation of that Greek passage. And it just like, within minutes.
You still need to check it.
Absolutely. You got to check everything, but it's still pretty cool. It's a pretty cool tool that could be like, all right, give me the statistics for X, Y, and Z for this type of sermon that I'm preaching. I'm talking about the gifts of the Spirit. Give me the statistics on healing over the past 1,000 years.
And you can pull that up in Google too.
Absolutely. Well, it's the same thing, right? You could do the same type of research. All it's going to do is instead of pulling from where you have to scroll through each individual website, it's going to pull and search all those websites at the same time and form that data together.
You want to take it even next level?
Sure.
This is something I would love to figure out. And you could do this in different softwares. But a pastor could take his sermons, right? And upload every single one of his sermons into this learning management software.
Brandon and I were just talking about this.
You're able to then have a archive and a reference point of your own for your own archive. And be able to reference it and bring things back and say, hey, what sermons have I already preached? Right. I'm trying to do in this sermon. What other sermons have I done? Other resources and stuff like that. But like, there's even softwares out there already that do something. It's like Logos.
Yeah.
Well, like with Bible study software.
But not only that, here's something that's really crazy.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to blow your mind. And this is where ethically, is this right or is it wrong?
You can,
all right, take Pastor Scott, right? Dude's got 25 years preaching in church.
Right.
If you compile all his sermons, put them into AI, have them generate it.
And then you talk to Pastor Scott online?
It could probably make an AI version of Scott. And even if he hasn't preached on a certain topic before, it could probably preach a sermon based upon the recollection years of
and then
sermons.
Check this out. Then you make a little chatbot which is, hey, chat with our pastor real quick, and then like it answers on behalf of Scott. Or maybe that's a little sketchy. No. That's a little unethical.
No, see, that's what I'm saying.
But then it could be like, hey, have a question about what's going on. But it can answer the questions based on your own church's belief, and then give references to, hey, if you want to learn more about it, here's this link.
But
to
like,
this sermon
think about Billy Graham. Right?
Put all his crap into a library. I'm sure they have.
Here's the scary thing.
Somebody had to have.
They could put all of his stuff in there, and Billy Graham could still be preaching to this day. Billy Graham bot.
That's nerds.
Like, based upon his sermons, it would recognize and generate his thought pattern, his preaching style, and how he preaches, and it could formulate new sermons based upon that, which is crazy to think about. Like, that's how powerful AI is. So again, it's a tool that has to be used appropriately, because that, in my opinion, is unethical, right? I don't think we should use AI for that at all.
And that's where it's at. It's like, and sometimes, people joke all the time where it's like, AI is coming for your jobs, but it's like the people behind the AI have to know how to use the AI too, which is wild. But like, it's the same idea with computers and calculators. Like, we have been able to do so many advanced things. You have to learn how to do it wisely. Like LimeWire, for example. We have access to all the songs in the world. You might fry your computer, so you probably shouldn't do that.
Right.
But you can. And so it's like, just like anything, you have to figure out, and this is where I think we're in the midst of, it's the biggest turn of, I should say this, it's like the biggest thing since the printing press. Like, it's communication revolution.
Right.
Like, the printing press changed the game. That's how the process of information grew as fast as it did, because of the printing press. And so the question then is while people are yelling at AI and doing all these different things, we're seeing a massive uptick in people going to church. We also see a massive uptick in people joining conservatively older, like Orthodox and Catholic faith, which is interesting. But we're seeing a lot of Gen Zers come to the faith. Mm-hmm. Does that have something to do with the power that people are using AI to get messages out there? Or is it causing, let's be honest, every generation goes up and down. So if previous generations were anti-God, then the next ones are going to be, same as with clothing and everything else, whatever trendy. But I'm not saying following Jesus is trendy, but for some people it is.
But we have to be careful in that aspect, right? We have to be careful with that tool, because we don't want to put AI up on a pedestal and start to idolize it, right? And we should be very careful in how we look. We don't want to praise things, right? We don't want to praise or put something above God in that aspect.
And I don't know how we would do that with AI outside of using it for our own material gain and for our own pleasure.
Sure.
Because for work, I don't put AI on a pedestal above God necessarily.
No, but that's because you have a relationship with God. But that could be something that could happen, right? It could happen.
I guess anything.
Yeah, I've heard, there's just so many crazy people worship so many crazy things, man. It's nerds. I could totally see this being something. You have whole churches being formed to like Jedi temples and stuff, which is totally make believe, right?
That's wild.
So that's the type of things that people are already idolizing, and we as Christians need to make sure that we don't fall into the same trap of idolizing innovation, right? Innovation in general, but specifically,
right?
What we're talking about
because innovation is, I mean, think about it. Like, even with Lennox and his heart surgery, if this was 30, 40, 50 years ago, kid would be dead.
Right, exactly.
Like, he wouldn't have been able to do what they do. So technology is unreal.
Absolutely. But we need to make sure we put it in its proper place, just like with everything, right?
Yeah, so how do we do that then?
Oh, I think, a lot of it comes back to seeking out wisdom, right? And seeking out God. And again, it goes back to that James chapter 1, verse 5, where if you lack wisdom, seek God and ask these things, right? And it's Lord, how do I put these things in the proper place? And then read your Bible, right? There is an order to things. It's always God needs to be number one, right? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. And then after that, other things come. So there's always a proper order for Christians in which we should hold things. And technology is great, right? Again, like you said, Lennox wouldn't be here. There's a lot of kids that wouldn't be here. There's a lot of people that wouldn't be on this earth if it wasn't for technology. On the flip side, like we talked about for euthanization, right? When we had that conversation years ago, where it's like how much are we allowing technology to almost play God at that on the flip side of things, so we gotta hold it in its right place of, how much is too much. And just to and in that understanding, we need to ask God to help us in our understanding with all that, because technology is a beautiful thing, but it could also be used for complete evil. Like we look at the atomic bomb, right? Complete destruction. It was not supposed to be originally, when they started researching that type of stuff, it wasn't supposed to turn into the atomic bomb, but it ended up.
Well, what was it supposed to be for? Just power?
I think it was a power. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be something like for
because we had Cook's nuclear power plant here in South Bend up until
No, Cook's is still over in Michigan City. They're still
is Cook's still cooking?
They're still cooking.
All right, look at that. I thought they closed for some reason.
No, they're still open. But that's a nuclear power plant, right? It generates a lot of power, and so there is a proper place for it. But then when you use a nuclear weapon, right, you weaponize it, then it can be used for evil. So you got to hold it in its proper place, and we need to make sure we seek God in the wisdom of all that. And then we need to make sure that I think another cool thing is that Christian developers or Christian web designers, those innovators of using technology for these cool things, I think we should support those types of people that are the Christian techies that are innovating these new apps and stuff like that. I think of like The Chosen, right? And I know I know it's controversial. Some people hate The Chosen. Some people love The Chosen. At the end of the day, one thing that The Chosen is doing is getting the name of Christ out there.
Yep.
Right. It's making people curious, and there's a lot of people that are going to church, going to their Bible, because of The Chosen, whether to fact check The Chosen or because of a story they've never heard of before, or just to see, hey, what's the rest of the story about?
And the thing I love about The Chosen, and you can hate me for saying this, but we forget that Jesus was a real dude, and the disciples were real people, and we take the realness out of the Gospels so much because and some of the Gospels are just focused on Jesus' last few weeks on earth,
right?
Let alone the almost 1,000 days that they traveled with Jesus, and then before that, 30 years Jesus lived on this earth.
And John said there's so much that Jesus said and did in those last 3 years that it would fill the books, that would fill the earth. The books of the entire world couldn't contain it.
And how much was done. They're normal people. I think, and so I like the fact that The Chosen brings out the humanity of the disciples and Jesus.
Yeah, it respects the God portion of Jesus, but also brings out the humanity of Jesus at the same time.
Yeah, but needless to say,
so I mean, and the other thing that we as Christians should do during this whole thing is let God shape our worldview. Romans 12 chapter 2 says, "Do not be conformed to this age, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may discern what is good, pleasing, and perfect will of God." And that's really what we should be doing. We should let God shape our worldview and how we view technology innovations, and how God wants to use it for His will and His purpose. And we should be willing as Christians to follow that and not use it for evil or our own purposes, but see in which way we can promote the gospel in the presentation to the world using technology. And again, I think AI is a perfect tool for that. It's a great tool that can be used. And at the end of the day, artificial intelligence isn't the enemy. It's a tool, right? But like any powerful tool, it must be governed by wisdom, ethics, and a heart submitted to God. Colossians chapter 1, verses 16 and 17 say, for everything was created by him in heaven and earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things have been created through him and for him. He's before all things, and by him all things are held together. We couldn't even had the thought process to make AI if it was not for God first giving whoever created the first bits and bytes that thought process in order to pull that together. And again, it's just like everything, right? The innovation of building the Tower of Babel was used for evil, but then the innovation for building the tabernacle was used to please and glorify God. It's all in the way that the tool is used, the way that the technological innovation is used can be used for evil and our own purposes and our own selfish ambitions, or it can be used for God and the promotion of the gospel. And I think as Christians, when it comes to technology, that's where we need to stand, is how can we use this to promote the gospel and do the will and the work of God?
And with AI and tech, it's one of those things where our world has always innovated. I mean, we invented the wheel and then chariots, and then, but a lot of times, and this is where I think history, those who don't know history are they're doomed to repeat it.
Sure.
And at every turn of every culture, new technology was always used to gain power and to control. Mm-hmm. I mean, down to like even when the Spanish conquistadors came over, like they had guns, but then the natives didn't, and all of a sudden it's like, we got a whole different ball game. Or you got, all of a sudden it's like, here comes people with the big old ships, like whole different ball game.
Right.
Or you had people, showing up with, I mean, even think of modern day with sports. Like you look at old like race cars, how slow them mugs used to go compared to now.
Yeah, they used to race Model Ts and Model A's, and now it's like, woo, look at the Indy 500.
Exactly. And so tech is in such a way as tech is always innovating and tech is always changing. But again, it goes back to whoever is using and handling that tool. And so as Christians, I don't want us to completely reject it, but also not be scared to call into question of, using it for good. And this is where there's a fine line between using it for good and complete invasion of privacy and control. I will say that there is a level of that.
Absolutely.
But when a lot of people are, and this is where originally a lot of, in my world, we're having issues with it. People were using ChatGPT to create all these different content and resources and blogs, post it as if it was their own. Right. But in reality, it was all stolen content.
Sure.
And so for about a year, I had a lot of clients asking me, like, how do I put this stuff on my website to prevent ChatGPT and other scrapers from jacking my content?
Absolutely.
Well, the problem now is the fact of ChatGPT is now being used as a search engine. And if it's not scraping your content, you may never get found again.
Sure.
And so there is a level of us needing to understand how to use it properly. And I do think, our government and other people will put in good protocols to make sure that it doesn't go beyond where it's supposed to. But on a personal level, you have to make sure like facts are still facts. If you're using AI in a way that you are legitimately cheating on a school assignment and other things, that's
plagiarism, all that stuff.
Now, if your teacher's like, hey, use ChatGPT to figure out these things, well, that's the freaking assignment. That's like a teacher saying you cannot use a calculator on this test. If you sneak one in, you're cheating.
Right.
Whereas if someone says, no, this has to be your own thought, your own research, you can use ChatGPT in your research. But this is the protocol, and you cheat to get there, or you make things, pump out your articles and you just post it. You never use anything about it. That's unethical.
Right.
If you're using it to such a way to actually destroy other people and slander people, like the problem with, there's so much fake news out there.
Right.
On both sides of the aisle, and so many fake posts that are made, and people believe it like nobody's business.
Right.
That's unethical. There's times where people are using people's now. If someone turns us into a baby and is like the podcast voiceover, absolutely,
I'm for it.
Somebody
Actually,
do it.
I started researching how to do it, and I think I know how to do it, and I really want to do it.
I started researching. I'm like, I ain't got time to do it.
It's just time consuming.
So if somebody wants to figure out how to turn us into babies for AI,
we'll take it.
Absolutely,
we'll totally take it.
But I've seen people where it's like,
we should.
You hear what this person said, and they use their voice to transpose it and just completely decimate people's lives.
We should totally. I should figure it out. We should do.
Crap.
We should do it. and do it for Revive Fest as one of the promo videos.
That would
that would be awesome.
That would be dope. I don't know if we got time for that this year, maybe next year, but that might be already off the trend. But who knows? But yes, at the end of the day, everything in the right hands can do good or bad.
Sure.
I mean, even like think about it, like tools, construction tools can either build a house or be used as torture weapons.
Yeah.
Guns can either be used to deter evil or to cause evil. Vehicles can either be used as transportation or to get away from crime scenes faster, or killing machines, or so many different things can be used for good or used for evil. And I think that's what it comes down to. This is AI in and of itself is not unethical.
Right.
How you use it
absolutely is very ethical or unethical, depending on
exactly. And so if you use it wisely and in the right context, it's a beautiful thing. It's it's a cool thing.
It's fun to mess around with. I like asking Chat GPT questions and trying to basically break Chat GPT by asking it questions about God, and it'll answer, and I'll be like, okay, well, what about this? Basically what we do, but I do it constantly, and then it finally goes error.
And then, but then it gets really fun is then you got to say, all right, study Alex O'Connor and use Alex O'Connor's voice. He's an atheist, and do all the different things and pump it full of how you want it to respond. Yeah. And now you got to do that.
Right.
Find an atheist, have them learn all you can about that atheist and the different things, and then you argue with it. It's like you're arguing against Alex O'Connor, and
that's awesome. It's fun.
And
AI is fun to
I'm trying to think of some
of
the other powerful atheists, that Stephen Hawking, stuff like that. It could be a lot of fun. But again, it's one of those things. If it's in the power of those who have in their hands, and then also beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And if you are like AI is an ugly thing, well, get your eyes fixed, I guess.
that's
so I don't know, but yeah, use it wisely, use it the way it's supposed to, and I think it's going to be okay. I think it's just the fact that it came out so hot, so fast, so confusing.
It'll get regulated.
It changed the landscape so drastically
right.
that we didn't know what to do, and I think that's what caused the fear of.
Sure.
We don't know it, we don't understand it. People don't like change in general, and this was such a revolutionary change that people went, nah, bruh, I am out.
But it was still fun.
But here we are a couple years later, and I mean, I was never an early adapter. I'm not an early adapter to things.
Yeah, me either.
But, I do think it's cool.
The most I like to do with it is...
You just screw around with ChatGPT.
Absolutely.
Or turn me into a
grass fairy.
And I turn you into
a grizzly bear.
Like a really nice, kind grizzly bear. Though.
I was cooking breakfast.
Dude, if you would have given me frosted tips with being a grass fairy, I would have looked more like Justin Timberlake than myself. I'm just saying.
I liked how it had the V-neck and
dude,
all
the
hair sticking out. I'm like, he ain't got no hair on his chest.
Turning me into a grass fairy thirst trap is what you're doing with AI. That's using it for good, ladies and gentlemen. That was not evil. That was for good.
Beth has it hanging on her wall in the bedroom now.
it's her background screen. I should do that when she falls asleep. Change her background screen to me as a grass fairy.
Oh, she'd be waking up in horror. She'd be like, "What is this?"
And I love my wife, but if she wakes up to that, you best believe I'm getting them heavy hands going. Well, bam! I'm gonna get smoked, and I'll be sent to the next zip code. I'll be sleeping on your couch.
All I know is the way it works around my house, if I'm getting slapped by Janelle, that means I'm doing something right. It's playful fun.
Oh, I'll say I'm like, if I'm getting slapped, it's because I started off. Yeah, well,
that's usually what happens to me. It's a slap a day keeps the doctor away, I thought.
So if you hear a random knock on the door tonight at 2 a.m. and Janelle says, Mark's here, it's his fault. It's your fault, big guy. That's what I got to say.
And I will laugh all the way to the door.
And you'll shut it around my face and say, good luck.
I'll be posting a picture of my grizzly bear face.
Gosh, I love it. Ready for some fun facts, my dude?
Yeah, let's
go. Time for Fun Facts with Filler.
All right, I didn't look, Fuller, and I'm not going to look, so I'm going to learn with the rest of the peoples.
Did you know that Japan has over 200 flavors of Kit Kats?
Wait, what?
They exclusively created for different regions, cities, and seasons. There are some tasty sounding ones like banana, blueberry cheesecake, or Oreo ice cream, which sounds delicious, as well as some very questionable ones like baked potato, melon, and cheese, wasabi, and vegetable juice.
Gross.
Look it up. I had to look it up, and it was like, really? Yeah, they are
how many flavors?
200 flavors of Kit Kats. Japan has over 200 flavors of Kit Kats. Some being baked potato, melon, cheese, wasabi, and vegetable juice.
That That's gross.
I want me I'm going to eat me a Kit Kat tastes like V8.
Why?
Just eat a carrot, bro.
That's wild. In case you're wondering, I am asking
ChatGPT?
I don't use ChatGPT. I use Claude.
Oh, Claude.
Claude is way better than ChatGPT. Gemini Pro 2.5 is pretty dope.
I'm not messing around with it.
I haven't used Claude 4.0 yet because it uses up a lot of my usage. To answer your question about the number of Kit Kat flavors in America, I'll need to get the most current information. It is thinking. I will update you on what Claude has to say. But while we wait, just like always, make sure you leave a rating review anywhere you listen to podcasts or even YouTube. You can make sure you hit that like button on the video or subscribe, hit the bell notification so when we're on, you know.
And if you haven't already, go over to our Facebook community page and join right now. There's over 1,600 people joining that group right now.
Yes, sir.
Where we can have fun conversations, share each other's faith, prayers, and all the like, and just have great conversation to keep the conversation going. And if you haven't reached out for your mini swag bag already, and you've left a review, reach out to realtalkchristianpodcast@gmail.com. Just do it.
Just do it.
Different.
So in case you're wondering, we currently on average have about 15 to 20 flavors of Kit Kat that are on the shelves at a time because they pull seasonal ones, they keep seasonal ones, but they have the standard ones like milk chocolate, dark chocolate, white chocolate, mint and dark, which is gross, strawberry, dark chocolate, mint chocolate with almond cookies and cream and raspberry cream. But unlike Japan, that has over potentially 300 flavors.
Oh, it's up to 300 now.
Dang. But who knows? Because AI could be wrong. And your research could be right.
Well, my research is from 2024, so it could be wrong.
Japan's like every year, y'all get 100 new flavors. I
just want to. We should try the wasabi. We should see if we can order the wasabi Kit Kat.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah,
when you coming back to the States, homie, can you bring some Kit Kats with you?
Wasabi flavored.
I love it, man.
All right.
Well, hey, I love you, Fuller.
We love you
guys, and until next time.
Take it easy.